Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and you can purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we're discussing what might be co-equally with the white gold blue dial Lambda, my favorite Nomos Glashutte timepiece. This is the Nomos Glashutte Zurich Weltzeit Nachtblau, a timepiece designed by the late Swiss industrial designer Hannes Wettstein externally and internally reconfigured to display a world time in a manner of speaking. It's a handsome and unusual complication from Nomos and one of the very few dual time watches you can buy without a date aperture to mar its appearance in any way. So if you're part of the no date movement, you can still have a complication. Stainless steel, 39.9 millimeters. The watch wears easily on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, but take note, if you are a traditionalist in the Nomos catalog, this watch might sneak up on you as one of the larger offerings from the brand. It's substantial. At 49.3 millimeters lug-to-lug, it has a broader wingspan than your average Nomos timepiece. It's not particularly thick, however. For an automatic complication, it's only 11.2 millimeters as I measure it, and the spacing between the lugs is a downright standard 20 millimeters, which is nicely proportioned given the size of the watch and also offers up a world of aftermarket strap size options, because 20 millimeters is probably the golden measurement for strap sizing. Everyone uses it. The strap itself has no pores, no seams, no hair, really no grain of any kind. That's because it is a shell cordovan horse leather strap from the Horween Leather Company of Chicago. And you can see it features sheer sides showing the layers of construction. It's a gloss finish on the top. It is black. It's a much more gentle suede-like texture on the bottom. It's not suede, but it's a bit more velvety than the tops. You'll also note that there is a simple, high-polish, Nomos branded pin buckle for easy on-the-fly adjustments. You can see on the flank of the case there's a pusher adjuster that allows you to step the hour hand without also moving the other indications of the dial. Normally, if I wanted to travel, for example, from New York to Rio de Janeiro, I simply make that adjustment and the watch moves the hour hand in sync. If you want to move the hour hand independently, there's a pusher on the flank. Now you can see that the case band is relatively simple, but it's slightly taller, or I should say it's slightly broader at its bezel than it is at its base, so it has a sort of inverse conical profile that spreads as it grows away from its case back. It also has a rather elaborate set of lugs which have a little bit of an air of 1960s Hoyer Carrera, but unlike the Carrera lugs which are fully integrated into the case band, this one has a sharp cleft and it's stepped out. You'll also note that it doesn't quite touch the case. That's a small nuance that Wettstein introduced to the original Zurich, and it sort of creates the appearance, per the designer, of a gem set in brackets. And if you imagine the watch itself, the case, the dial, and the movement as the gem, it makes sense. It does have that air to it. There's also a little bit of an inward cant to the edges of the lugs. They slope inward as they move upward. Everything's of high polish, but it's in good taste because no one part of this watch is terribly large. It doesn't appear bulbous and overwrought. It's a nice size, neither oversized nor undersized. The bezel, as with the original Zurich, is minimalist. It fades away, especially when you're viewing the watch head-on, into a sort of silver halo. Now moving inboard, you can see that Nachtblau, or night blue, is a lovely satin velvety grain. It's a bit like what Patek Philippe would call opaline, so not a sunburst. It's sort of a blasted matte finish. There is a snailing to the sub-register, which is sunken, and then there is a 24-hour indication that is adjacent to either the image of a house or home plate. Whether you are American or international, in either case, it's going to be the image of home, and that's the time zone where you are not. So you can see that that is your reference time. Now, your local time is going to be the one displayed on the center dial, and you have 24 reference cities that are designed to act as the references for the 24 principal time zones of the world. And, of course, let's go full circle here. You can see that Berlin supplants Paris, because this is, after all, a German timepiece. So Berlin supplants Paris, and that is GMT +1. That's the one little nod and a wink on the world ring. Turn it all over, and you can see Nomos caliber DUW 5201. When you see a DUW or Deutsche Ehrenwerk, you're looking at one of the Nomos in-house calibers with Nomos' own in-house swing system assortment. So on this watch, the hairspring, the lever, the escape wheel, and the balance are all made by Nomos, as are the remainder of the components. Automatic winding with a 4 Hz beat rate. You can see it as stop seconds or hacking. It is a 26 joule automatic with a 42-hour power reserve and some handsome elements of finish. All this water resistant down to 30 meters. Features that I enjoy are the design elements. As you can see, there's a little bit of a reference in the form of the bridges to the 3/4 style bridges of East German pocket watches of the 19th century. You can see that there's a double spiral graining on the ratchet wheel above the barrel, and that's executed by hand. There's a gentleman who just does those all day long. True blued screws, heat fired, not chemically dyed, and you have Glashutte stripes across the individual bridges, perfectly aligned. There's an engine turned perlage on the base plate, and note the extraordinarily elaborate click and the click spring, another reference to old East German pocket watches. That is not a standard click or click spring. It's wonderful for it. Of course, the watch features a couple of other little winks and nods, including a handsome plinth that visually raises the crown away from the watch body while also making it easier to dig in your nail, and a lovely little shoulder to provide a bit more visual mass and beef to the pusher adjuster that varies the local time as well as the local time reference ring. You can see this wonderful night blue grained dial in stainless steel. Again, a world time or dual time watch without a date. See it and make it yours on the Watchbox.